Welcome to our channel. Today, we are here discussing the basic thing on which our country, the great Indian civilization, is working, which is the democracy. So, the Indian democracy, as we all know, is the world's largest democracy, and we are the world's oldest democracy as well. Like we call the Britain the mother of democracy, but we forget that Indian society we used to practice democracy from the ancient times as well. We had the Vaishali province in Bihar in India, which in which we are used to practice the democratic setup in the world's most oldest time through the ancient history, when the whole world didn't know how to behave in a civilized manner, didn't know how to even proper follow our civilization. We were the one we used to practice. We had the world's oldest republic, which is the Lichavis of Vaishali. So it is very unjust to call the Britain the mother of democracy. Like we were the oldest and the world's largest democracy in the world. So there are different provisions, there are different features, we have very different distinct features which differentiates and which makes the Indian democracy the world's most beautiful democracy. So we are here discussing the different distinct features of Indian democracy. So we have listed down few features which are the most important ones. So the first one feature is the rule of law. Like in India, we practice the rule of law, that everything in every action of Indian citizens, everything which is done in India is based on the law, and it never overshadows the law. We have the Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, which states that, which gives two things to the Indian citizens. The first one is equality before law, and the equal protection of laws, in which means that in the eyes of law, every citizen of India is equal, and there is no inequality among them on the basis of caste, creed, color, gender, place of birth, sex, etc. So the law believes that every citizen is equal in their eyes. And the second thing is equal protection of laws, which means every citizen of India have the equal rights and duties to protect their laws. In the Constitution of India has given different fundamental rights, different provisions. The Article 32, which is the right to constitutional remedies, which gives every citizen of India the equal opportunities to protect their rights given by the Constitution. The second, the most important feature of Indian democracy is the independence of judiciary. Like we all know, we have the four pillars of democracy in India: the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and the fourth one is media. But among all them, judiciary is one of the most important. Like judiciary is called the watchdog of the Indian Constitution. They have the duty to protect the rights, the duties of to the every citizens, and the judiciary have to protect all the rights in all situations. The Honorable Supreme Court in the S.P. Gupta versus Union of India case stated that even the constitutional modifications cannot take away the unbiasedness, the impartiality of Indian judiciary, and the judiciary has to be uh, impartial in all situations and protect the laws and rights of the Indian citizens guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. One of the most important features, next features of Indian democracy is the majority rule and the representation of minority as well. Like we have both. We have the majority rule in which we say we have elections every periodic time in states and in central as well. There is a majority rule, which means that the party which have the highest number of seats in the legislatures, which be it the central, be it the state, they have to represent the people and work on their behalf. But we have the representation of minority as well. We have different provisions to protect the interest of minorities. Like we have a term in the Indian Constitution which is called the protected discrimination, which means that the Indian Constitution and the legislatures have the right to make special laws for the minorities and women and children as well. So we have different provisions regarding the minorities, and we don't ignore the minority as well. We have the majority rule, but it is there, the representation of minorities is also there. The next and the most important feature of Indian democracy is the freedom of speech. Like we have the Article 19(1)(a), which guarantees the right to freedom of speech and expression, in which in every situation, all the Indian citizens have the right to express their opinions and to say whatever they want. And there is no boundary and no limitation on this freedom of speech of the people. Like, it is absolute right. It can be curtailed in certain situations, but in normal circumstances, no one can curtail this right. The next and the important feature of the Indian democracy is the single citizenship. Like when we go to the USA and different countries of the world, we see that there are dual citizenship. in which means that the people had to take the citizenship of the central center also and the different states also. But in India, there is a single citizenship, which denotes that in India we believe the nation comes first and the states are inferior to the nation. Like the most important interest of every citizen is the nation building. So we have a single citizenship in which we have to take only the citizenship of India and not of different states. Like the nation is the one, the most former thing, and everything comes after it. The next feature of Indian democracy is the federal structure. Like we are living in a quasi-federal structure. We have the unitary features as well. We have the federal structures as well. Right? We have different lists divided: the union list, the state list, and we have the concurrent list as well. In the union list, we have listed different subjects, the topics in which the only the central government can make the laws. We have the state list as well, where only the state government's jurisdiction is to make the laws, and we have a concurrent list as well, where both the central and the state government in a cooperative way makes laws. So we have divided the jurisdictions of different governments. We have divided the jurisdiction into central government, the state government, and even the local self governments, like the panchayati system in different villages. We have the municipal corporations in different cities and towns. So we have a proper setup where we have divided the different jurisdictions of the different governments, and we work in a very cooperative manner. So these features make India a very different democracy in the world, and we have the most beautiful democracy where we follow the best practices of the world. We took them only the best things in the world, and we made a very distinct constitution. We made a very distinct democratic setup, which makes the Indian democracy the greatest in the world. Thank you very much.